Abstract brainwaves, game genie in the beanie. We ain't on the same stage, leveled up. The epitome of technique, can't survive in my current thought.
Other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. And we have Oshawott Community Day here. And as we get closer and closer to the end of the year, it just finally dawned on me a couple of things. Just a few more days till autumn starts. Less than 50 days till Halloween. Less than 60 days, less than 2 months until Thanksgiving. Less than 100 days until Christmas. Yeah, there was a meme going around showcasing how close we are to all of these things coming up, and it's just like, hold up. It feels like it was just March this year, and here we are into all of this stuff going on here. But lo and behold, it's the middle of the month now. Well, now closer to the end of it, with just 10 days left from the time that I'm making this video, into what we have left into Pokemon Go. So here it is, Oshawott, and it had moves that you thought it was going to have. Hydro Cannon. Okay, not terribly exciting, but typically Hydro Cannon is what the water types get on Community Day. The cool thing about this was it was 3 times catch XP, which I enjoy, but if you're trying to use multiple accounts or just catch whatever you can, having a gacha or Pokemon Go Plus isn't in your best favor time-wise. Yes, you're gonna get your shiny, hopefully, but after that, the best thing to do is to turn that stuff off. And it just makes me wonder why it isn't always like ×3 catch XP. It should always be that. They switch up to like ×3 Stardust and other things, but most of us are continuing to play for XP. This other side research stuff, while that may be cool and everything, if we can't get to it because we A, don't feel safe, or B, we just aren't interested in that style of play anymore, XP is really the only thing holding a lot of people back from progressing to the next levels. Niantic started piling on with the millions upon millions upon millions, and that's where we're at. So it was a slow start for me. I did not get any shinies for what felt like an eternity, but I only say that because I was comparing myself to some others that I was with. Went out to Bicentennial Gardens this go around. It was nice to always go there. I don't go there often, so to get out there. There were several people that I recognized there, which I enjoyed seeing again. And it was not crowded like I thought it would be, but it's also still, a park where people hang out at, walk their dogs. So Pokemon or not, that's always going to be a thing. You just never know if it's going to be like a Go Fest where every other person you look at is on their phone playing Pokemon, or just a sprinkling. But there were quite a few people here in my area. It seems like we were going from a rainy period to where a cold front was here to, oh man, it's hot again. So when I mentioned autumn coming back, that's why I was incentivized to bring it up, because I'm looking forward to the hoodies and the cooler weather, not necessarily raking leaves and things like that though. That out of the way, I didn't get too many of these shinies. And let me tell you, the shinies that I did get, they were terrible. They were terrible shinies. So while I'm here right on camera thinking about it, I did forget in the group to announce that I was doing a giveaway for the Oshawott Community Day. I was so really not interested in it that I forgot to mention it. Now, that's not to say Oshawott is a bad Pokemon. The evolutions are pretty cool. It's just that it doesn't really look that much different from, the others. Or from, I should say, from the standard form. So we had Thomas Beer Brewer. That guy is the one who won. A lot of people had a 12 CP. I'm guessing he had an 11, and he evolved that all the way to Samurott, which I think he got it in at like a 35 or something like that. So congrats, bro. Come see me for your prize. And let me just tag him right here, right now. If it'll let me tag him. Because it may not a lot of times. A lot of times when you tag somebody from your page, if they're not fans of your page, it's not going to it's not going to let you do that. So yeah, I'm probably going to have to post as myself and do it, and not as other Yellow Hat Guy, sadly. But therein is the problem. It's like, hey, just go ahead and give the page a like. That's all I'm looking at it from that vantage point. Is just go ahead and give the page a like. That way it makes it easier for me, because clearly I post on this page more often than not as other Yellow Hat Guys. So let's switch it up real quick. I just enjoy that. Hey, some people are like, hey, I'm not into the other Yellow Hat Guy, but I'll get prizes. Let's see, it may not let me tag him at all. Yeah, it may not be other Yellow Hat Guy thing. It might be his actual settings that are keeping me from doing that. So, and I was also under the impression that maybe we were friends on here. So, what can you do? But he won. So getting back to Oshawott, and I'll just have to message him privately. But again, if you enter these contests and you expect to win, make it so that you can be contacted, because I'm not going to chase people. I just want to put that out there too. That's not directed towards him. It's just in general, if you're watching this and wherever you are in the world, you join Pokemon Go High Point because you want to enter in these community day contests, make sure that there's a way that you can be contacted. If you have to where I can't connect with you, after about 2 weeks, that's it. Moving on, your prize goes to somebody else, if at all, to somebody else. And we'll real quick go to Duskull Community Day, because that's the next one. And, well, if I'm being honest, not really excited about that. I don't think that should have been a choice. We've had a Duskull shiny for a while now, where some of us have traded and everything. So to reward you with another opportunity to get Duskull, it's not... There's so many other ghost Pokemon. We know for a fact that Spiritomb is coming back. We just know that. We expect a Gengar Mega, out in the raids. And, some kind of Halloween event. But to throw Duskull in there when there's, it's just, hey, bring Darkrai back. At least that's a mythical, and you can't trade that. I'm sure that'll be in the raids at some point, but you just... All the ghost Pokemon, you said, who needs a community day? Duskull. That's who needs one. So, Oshawott, I'm guessing, is pretty good in PvP. I've seen videos, Brendan Ton and some others, showing that, this samurai Pokemon is pretty cool. I love how I just now realized all this time that when you're encountering one of those in the wild, because I haven't often, he backhands the ball, but he pulls out a sword. He pulls out a samurai sword and hits it back your direction. That is pretty neat. But other than that, there wasn't a lot here. The research, it was $1. It gave you a Rainy Lure module, which, on its own was worth it. There were a couple other goodies in there too that I can't remember at the time, but I ended up spending money on the game. I bought a bunch of lucky eggs in hopes of pretty much getting to 1,000,000 XP like I did for Gibble. Gibble, I was really into getting shiny Gibbles and getting the XP, but Oshawott, for whatever reason, didn't grab me that way. Well, I won't say for whatever reason. It wasn't that interesting to me like Gibble was. I'll just leave it to you at that. But here, let's pull it up and see, because I want to make sure I had some lucky eggs left over. Some people were like, hey, I'm not gonna go hard on Oshawott Community Day with lucky eggs, knowing I get, a whole bunch of XP during raids. So I've got 3 left. I think I bought the bundle in the shop. The bundle was like what, 8 lucky eggs. So I used 5 of them and didn't nearly get a million XP out of all that. Yeah, we just barely got 500,000 isn't terrible, but and all things considered, I only played 11 to maybe like 2:30. And in that time we'd stopped at 8, but I still played. So, and shout out to Eric and Manju. They provided some lunch there. That was pretty cool. A nice little picnic lunch. So if they're watching, I know they don't look at these videos like that, but if you do, thank you. That was pretty cool of you. I actually had some milk that I left in my car. It was, fortunately, the milk survived. It didn't spoil, but if you know anything about getting groceries, perishables like milk, eggs, you can't leave those out sitting for too long, especially when it's very warm out. Fortunately, I parked somewhere where there's a little bit of shade, and I kept the milk at the bottom of or on the floor of the car, and not where it was exposed to the sun. So after all that time of playing, it was still pretty cool. It wasn't cold, but it was pretty cool. And it was pretty cool of them. They had a cooler bag that they had the sandwiches in, and everything worked out to where I could just put the milk in there, got home, and didn't have to waste milk, because although there's no point in crying over spilled milk, I think that's the saying, it was still milk that I would have thrown away. And there's plenty of cereal for me to eat the rest of the month. So yeah, progress-wise, we've got 9.5 million left. Yeah, so we cracked the 10 million mark. 9.5 left. And it would have been nice if it would have just been 9 million left. But there are millions and millions of XP that I've got left. But hey, we're up to 250 friends as well. Probably not showing that on camera, but during this event, there's a lot of Froakies popping up, as I'm catching one here as I'm talking to you. A lot of Froakies popping up, and a lot of Pidgey evolutions. And I think that's to help people who need the 296. They're throwing you a bone. They're like, hey, we know y'all need Pidgeys. We haven't been giving you a lot of Pidgeys. You probably have Pidgeys from when you started playing the game. You've got myself and plenty of other YouTubers telling you, hey, go for Melton, go for Pidgey. Those are the ones you probably have a lot of XL candy for already. And at least if you see Pidgeotos or Pidgeots in the wild, there's a pretty good chance that you'll get XL candy from them. So try to catch those if you can. And so, as you know, even though I don't need another Pidgey, I just still like catching the evolutions of them just for the candy. I just, if there's any Pokemon I'm going to continue to max out that, I don't have to put a lot of effort into, it's probably going to be Pidgey, because there was a time, kids, where when you had lucky eggs, it was Pidgey that you were, for the 12 candy, that was one of the first ones where you can just say, hey, I'm going to exploit that. And, I've got 430 Pidgey candy XL. So if you need that XL candy or need me to trade you one of those, I could do that. I could trade you a Pidgey, or I could at least boost it up to where it's almost maxed out, and we could work out a deal like that, depending on what it is you actually need. But Niantic still does little subtle things like that, to where they feel so-and-so should be here right now. Here, let's do this. We aren't doing the Team Rocket thing, so if you're level 44, that might be a little more grueling grind for you right now. But hey, if you've passed 44 and you're on to 45, and you've got a max out Pokemon, this is probably the level that, or this is probably the stuff that you're looking for right here, right now. So, it was a struggle for me to really get through the event, because I spent my coins on the lucky eggs, but I didn't spend any coin on Pokemon storage. So I spent a lot of time deleting Pokemon. I do have enough coins right now to go ahead and increase the storage, so I think I'm going to do that. I always hate the idea of having to do that. I think that they should just let you, You know, if you're going to pay for the cloud service to put Pokemon there, you should be able to, you know, I don't know. Maybe I won't buy it just yet. Maybe I'll dump a bunch of Oshawotts into my, you know, cloud storage and then put them in Sword and Shield and then go from there. I think that's the move, and I'll do that off camera instead of jumping the gun here. So we've talked about what they've got coming up in terms of the next community day, but here's what's coming up soon. And well, actually, let's talk what's happening right now raid wise, and then we'll finish it off talking what's coming up soon. Because I figured if I'm going to be a little bit negative, here's the point in the video where I do that. We've got a Zelf, Uxie, or Uxie, however you want to say that, and Misprit out right now. And for the foreseeable future, and by foreseeable future, I mean they gave you 30 days of a Zelf if you're here in this area. If you're here in the U.S., you've got 30 days of a Zelf. The problem with that is, hey, we have access to different sites and applications that allow us to connect with people who are overseas. So what a lot of people are doing is before the raids even drop in this area, they've dropped obviously in another area where the time zone is different. So they're already using their remote raid passes in those areas. And I'm not saying that the remote raids need to be region locked, but it does put a blight on the raid experience. For those of us who were like, hey, I'm going to raid with my community, and my community is already raiding in other parts of the world, what happens is when it comes to sharing a Zelf, it's like, no, we've already got our Zelf, or we've already invited people from other parts of the world to do a Zelf, and we've got our shiny. Therefore, I'm no longer interested in doing a Zelf that's here. I'm going to do the other two. So while I'm not mad at them, what I want to say to the community that is watching is, hey, don't forget about the rest of us here. Don't forget about those of us who send you invites and you may not invite at all. I'm not saying you got to spend your money, but hey, the trick to exploit here is you're out here and you're seeing raids. Go ahead and say, hey, first 5. You don't have to do it. Wait for those 5 people that you invite to jump in, and then go ahead and politely jump out. But give those of us who are still playing the game with you a chance to do it as well. That's a cool thing to do. There's a lot of raids that I don't like doing at all, but I realize there's an audience who's looking for those, who may not have been playing when those things were out or with me. So if I see it and it doesn't hurt me to just share it, sharing it allows you to drive to it so you don't waste your time looking for it. But it also gives the opportunity to say, hey, if you want to use a remote raid pass on a Weezing or something, by all means, I'll invite you and jump out. It doesn't cost me a pass. It saves you from driving around, whatever. Keep that in mind. I ask you guys as a community, keep that in mind when it comes to playing this game, because no matter how much Niantic improves the game, it's still us. We're the ones that make the game as great as it is. Don't be fooled by the changes. You know, look back to how things were, and you know, prior to raids, even prior to the daily streaks and all that, it was a bare bones game, and we kept it going. We're the reasons why it's still here, and that's not to take anything away from Niantic and their contribution, but we need each other to continue playing. Okay, and while you're playing with those in other parts of the world and you're getting your shinies and you don't feel like, hey, you don't want to contribute anymore, keep in mind that although you don't have to do the raid, still there's plenty of us out here who may not have been as fortunate to get the Zelf, you know, in the first raid. And I don't mean just catching a Zelf. The Zelf, you know, all 3 of them have rotated at least once to different parts of the world. And some of us have done the very same thing that I'm talking about. But now all 3 of them are back in their shiny form, so that complicates it even more, because some people are like, hey, I don't want to do a Zelf anymore, and not only do I have it, but I've got the shiny now, and maybe it took me 50 passes, so I'm over it. I don't even want to look at it anymore. Or maybe, you know, I got it the very first raid, so I've moved on. But there's plenty of us who are still doing that, and we're looking for it. And I'm not even speaking for myself. Even if I had it, I'd still send those invites out for people who are interested in it. Okay, so I'm off my soapbox now. So what's coming up next as this video comes to a close? we've got this fashion week starting tomorrow. So when I say tomorrow, maybe the video goes up tomorrow, but September 21st, they've got an evolution line of a Pokemon that it's going to have different looks, and we'll see if they continue doing that in the future. My suspicions say that it will, but we'll talk more about that next video when it arrives. But I'm looking forward to it. It's something different. I'm already over the whole Azelf and everything. I'm over all those, so if I get a shiny, I get a shiny. There's still a couple more weeks to get an opportunity to get it. What I would love is, hey, maybe I get the Azelf, and then during the raid hour in another country, somebody invites me and I get the Misprit. But if not, I don't. There's always trades. I have plenty of Stardust to trade for each of those things, and we will go from there. So I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Leave, as always, your comments or your feedback in the comment section, and I can address those. Thomas, reach out to me so I can give you your Community Day prize, and I will see you all in the next one. Other Yellow Hat Guy is out. Captain Sensation!